Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, my dear friends. It's always good to come and speak with you. Marcie is here today. We had Jennifer wanting to come and talk. We were all going to kind of do a panel and talk with you because we want to shake it up a little bit. They're
That's
also
right.
used to seeing me constantly. It's like, you get burnt out. Some guy said, this is boring.
Somebody said that?
Yeah, somebody said this is boring. And it's like, good, because it's the same, it's so simple to understand health. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, and you've seen this more and more, and look at what you went through, in your journey, how much weight you've lost, what's happened to your blood sugars, just incredible stuff. I've also been telling them about our research in the lymphatics and what we want to do more with the lymphatic system, absolutely. And we went over the Samuel West stuff and stuff with the blood proteins, and we covered those sort of things. I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about those that are struggling and working hard to get their results. I can just tell you I have a friend, he's a YouTuber, and he's an MS client, and he was kind of an A-type, very, very anal, very everything rigid and everything, and that in itself can affect your adrenals and affect the flow of energy in your body. When you're expecting everything to be regimented and all this, you need to relax. Relax. Start opening up your spiritual doors. Who cares anymore? You're on a planet that is, you got a lot of predictions of the future that are in line with each other. Christianity is in line with the Kali Yuga, with the Hindus in that way. Also, there was what's his name, the old predictor of the future, Nostradamus. In the Bible they found the code, and they've been unciphering this code, and it just seems to have the names of everybody, everything in that. So it's enough to say is, now's the time for you. Everybody's trying to take from the individual. We were just talking about everything is in bond paper now, and what the World Bank is up to, and what they want to do. And there's I was telling there's 92 fusion centers in this country now. And so you're seeing there's a move in the future for some type of takeover. So it's enough to say everyone needs to protect themselves. Find your source of happiness, which should be yourself, because you have to spend some time with yourself. If you don't, I see people, they're just so insecure. You got people out there, we were talking about this yesterday on video, herbs are bad, this is bad. People are grabbing onto any bullshit thing they can, any propaganda that they know in their heart is wrong, and they're grabbing on these things for what reason? So most people are like leaves fluttering in the wind. You must get strong. And the only way you're going to get strong is with yourself, because you're the divine. You're the one. And you must tap into that and enjoy that. And realize that some of you have health concerns that are going to take a lot longer than others. You can't judge one human over another, because that's not fair. Your journey could have been much longer, much harder than another soul who might have just got to this level, who knows, a lifetime or two ago, or for some, newer soul maybe. So sometimes you've got more things wrapped in your whole beingness, in the mind and in the emotional bodies. It's going to just take you a little while to unwind. Just relax and unwind it. Know you're on the path to Wellville and to Godville, and just relax and have fun with it and enjoy it. Don't make it a tear. And we have so many people that call here and ream us and get mad at us for things like, what? All we're trying to do is help everybody and get herbs out to help you. And it's just, it's tough sometimes, Well,
there's a lot of really hurting people out there. And you can take the nicest person, but when they're in pain, I used this example before because many people are animal lovers. And so maybe this will speak to you a little bit, but if you found a wounded dog or animal along the side of the road and you went to help that animal, you would not lash out, yell at, scream at, hit, or anything that animal if it tried to bite you or anything, because you would naturally understand that that animal is wounded and is scared and hurting. Well, we have a lot of people that call in and we are trying to help. Now, we're not going to get upset if you lash out at us, but try and take a deep breath before you call and understand that we're actually humans at the other end of the phone. We aren't just machines. And we literally get calls from around the world, and we do need to take a little time to process those in order. So if we can't get to you in an hour, if we can't get to you, I mean, it does say 24 to 48 hours. And if it's emergency, there's things that you can do, noting that, leaving messages that this is an emergency. But that's another thing that maybe we should talk about too. What constitutes an emergency? Because Robert has provided his number if there's emergency. Sometimes I know I am, but if you're calling and you're saying, I need to know if this is an emergency, that's one thing. If it then proceeds that the next day you call and ask, can I have this fruit on that emergency line, that's not an emergency. And we want to give. We are constantly, we're givers here. And I know that like Robert and Jen and I, our hearts are to give to people. But we have our families too that we have to take care of. And so the hurting people that are out there, take a deep breath before you call. We love you. We're going to get with you. We're going to take care of it. We're going to help you as much as we can help you and guide you with that. We're your cheerleaders. But there's also the responsibility of, on that end, of learning things too.
Now remember, I've set this up to work as a team, because as you know, we're much stronger as a team as an individual. Remember 11-11, and it's a team effort. Even though we're individuals, it's a team effort. And that's the power we have. We have the power of truth on our side. There's no question about it. And so that's what you have. And you have something that's very precious to you. You have your key, your remedy, not only to your well-being, to the physical body, I'm giving you keys how to know what's beyond this world. And whether you choose to use it, I don't care. It's up to you. Everybody's at a different level spiritually. Some people have different belief systems. I don't really care. But if you want to touch something far greater than yourself that you're very much a part of, then you have to let go of the little stuff. We're so busy with the little stuff. Materiality has suffocated man's spirituality. And so everybody has locked into their mental faculties of desire. So it says, I want this, I want this, I want this. And so you're constantly going from one thought to another thought, from one desire to another desire. You have to step back sometimes and become desireless for a while. Jesus said it, Buddha said it, they're desireless. You become detached from these things because they own you. Every thought you have owns you. And if you own, and this is why, we look at Christ and we look at Buddha, and one of the words we could associate with those two is poverty consciousness. Because there is this thing of going out there in spirituality about be positive, and you don't have to have poverty consciousness. You can have anything you want, use positive thinking, and you can have anything you want, you just want to be positive thinking about it, and anything you want, you can put your attention on and get it. That's true. And that's great for those that want to spend time here. But for those that want to leave this realm or become more aware of their higher selves, if I could use that in that way, you can't just chase your dreams and your desires all the time, because that's all your life will be, a chase of desires, and you're so much more than that. You are so much more than your desires. And that was the point of Christ and Buddha. They spent time getting into themselves, so they knew who they were. They experienced the God state of and so that's what you can do, the same thing. Jesus said that many, many times. You can do what I can do and even more. And that's the point. So you spending some time relaxing is also spending some time not thinking, not desiring. Spend some time just playing, have fun. Don't worry about tomorrow. If you'll get there, you'll notice tomorrow will already be taken care of for you. Yeah, everything's already laid out anyway. You can't change it anyway. So if you quit stressing about tomorrow, it'll come, it'll go.
I just read something the other day. It said, yesterday is in the past, tomorrow is in the future, today is your life, live it. Be in today. We tend to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. We tend to live in the past, and before we know it, this day is gone. You can never get that back. And so, like Robert said, enjoy. I know this weekend, my husband just got his motorcycle out of the garage. I'm Harleying it up.
So you're going to Harley down to the Keys, you're going to ride an alligator, then you're going to go wrestle and cut off a snake of a head of a big snake over across the way in the swamp there where all the the boas are, and then you're going to go out in the Gulf and go shark hunting. I got your day tomorrow.
Not quite that busy. But
or the treasure hunt you set up for your kids all around town. That was a good one.
yeah, they had fun with that one.
It's enough to say we enjoy helping each and every one of you, and we want you to feel a part of a oneness here. And like I said, the Costa Rican project, I think, is coming along real well. This will blossom as we move into a nice association or society, if you will, I don't care, but into a strongness. And we want to be like-minded. So I want you guys to work through these, but can I add this, can I add that? There's so much stuff out there. You know, like one lady asked me yesterday about that diatomaceous earth and stuff like that, and it's like, you know, people grab for things like this that don't know how to get well. When you don't understand the simplicity of wellness, the simplicity of vitality and health, the simplicity of eating your foods raw and unfired, simplicity of using a few herbs to enhance the function of, not suppress, enhance the function of tissue. I mean, this is all very simplistic. And when you go down that line, there's a relief. And we don't have to add all these other things because sometimes more is not better.
Exactly.
And this is one case. When you're going forward in Wellville, simplicity is the case, not complexity. And the more you add, the more complex it is to the human mind, to the human body. Because whether you're running the mind or not, your mind is still kicking back all the chemistry and physics that are involved. So you're really you know, adding things that can actually slow down your detox, thinking that it's better. And there's opinions out there a mile long, and some are not too good. Some are from people that have no clue. And so we freely give of our opinions. Opinions are worth about a dime a dozen. Truth, however, never, it's worth all the money in the world.
Well, this is, and speaking of the simple, I'm even going to go back to, you know, protocols that we write. I remember when I very first come across Robert and I started doing the protocols. And for most of you that know me, you know that I love challenging myself. I mean, I've been doing the pituitary, the endocrine, and the female reproductive, all three at once, and totally messing myself up, but having fun doing it. Just figuring out where I can go. But when I first started this, I got a protocol, and then I'm like, okay, but this wasn't addressed, and this wasn't addressed. And before I knew it, I was literally on 9 of the tinctures and about 8 of the pills. And financially, I just couldn't do it anymore, and so I pulled back, and I got back to the simple. It was a little more than the Fab 4. It was a regular kit, but it wasn't all these extra things. And I actually found that I did better.
Yeah.
I did better.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you realize that if you have multiple problems, that there's one golden thread that each of them are connected with, and that's blood and lymph. And it's always the lymph system that is problematic. And we talked about this, and I think it's important for people to know there are medical doctors that are lymphologists that do understand a little more about the lymph system. They're a little locked with the blood again, you know, and blood proteins and stuff, but still, that's a big, big step up. They don't understand the role of the kidneys yet, or the lymphatic system. I'm sure they're dealing in that pretty good. If this society is the top lymphologist, that research we uncovered for the lymphatic system, I'm sure they're hot on that, and they've got to be thinking the same way we do. What about the triangle at the base, you know, the lower burner area, that area that has to have the matching lymphatic system. So there's a lot of things not discovered yet, which should be shocking to those that think that allopathy knows everything.
Right.
You know, we're still discovering just proper physiology, just proper anatomy. We don't even know it all. That's shocking for some people. So always resort to simplicity. The complexity is always fun to play with for those that like the mind. I love complexity at times. But be careful you don't get lost with your mind again on that and take you away from the simple truth of wellness. And it just sometimes takes a while. You have to understand that you have miles of interstitial spaces. Interstitial means around all your cells, and you have roughly 100 trillion cells. I'm sure that'll change. So you've got 100 trillion cells there with all these spaces that are constipated. It'll take you a while, and acids dehydrate, so your inner spaces are drying out. Because of that, your body's pulling water and holding water, and that's where you see the swelling to that.
Well, every cell, it eats, it breathes, it poops, just like we do. Now, for those who have had a constipation problem in the past, if you go 4, 5, 6 days, a week, 2 weeks without going, do you feel like working? Do you feel like doing anything? And then you think of every cell in the body getting more and more backed up because they can't poop. There's no room for them to poop.
What about, well, think of that 10, 20, 30, because by some people become aware of just doing a protocol for one guy, 14-week protocol and iris analysis. The gentleman was 60-some years old, and so you have all these years that stack up eating acid foods, high proteins, and dairy products. You have all these foods that stack up, because sometimes you don't think, well, I'll just have a steak, or I'll just have a glass of milk or some ice cream or something like that. You don't realize that little toxicity here, little toxicity there, and pretty soon, after years of this, and then, of course, the real starter is you don't start off in life with a healthy body and new genes. That's not how it works here. You got your mother, you're in your mother, so you're hooked to her fluid problems, and then you've got hers and you're the donor genes and the grandparents behind there. So you got donors to you. So you don't get to start out with a healthy body, but God puts you as consciousness or soul into the appropriate body so those weaknesses match with the experiences you need to awaken. Now, when you start looking at how something so magnificent, so infinite, can everything is just so perfect in that way, it's frightening. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's why I'm a lover of God. I mean, how can you not be? It's just unfathomable how everything is just done so. Yeah. How could you not? Yeah. So it's enough to say is we want you to relax, take it easy, have fun, join us. And we will help change this world. We're already doing it. I've said this to you many times before. You guys are so sweet, so good. You're helping so many people. A lot of those guys that you see what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Look at Shane. Look at Marco. Look at our muscle guys. I mean, everybody's doing everything great. And I tell you, there's some of you that are working through it. Check your attitudes. I'll tell you that. You have to check your attitudes. Start listening to yourself. Because some people have copped up bad attitudes and they don't realize it. So listen to yourself talk to others. Listen to and watch yourself interact with others. Because attitude. And sometimes you don't realize you've picked up different attitudes that's actually having a negative influence on you. So you have to watch yourself and because no one else will. And you don't want your friends to say, hey man, you got a bad attitude. You really want to watch yourself and realize cause and effect. What I put out, I'm getting back. So if you constantly see things back at you that you don't like, maybe you're putting out something that others are kicking off of. So you really got to watch yourself in every way when you're developing yourself into a real conscious being. Because your influence on others will be greater. And if you hurt someone or interface with someone, cutting them down, it won't be long. You're going to get yourself kicked. This is all cause and effect. You reap what you sow.
Mercy and grace when you're dealing with people is so, and humility is key. Because you don't know what they're facing. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the struggles that they're dealing with. I mean, to judge someone that sits in your chair because they cheated 3 days out of last week, to actually put that out there, you're going to hurt that relationship there. They're not going to feel like they can be honest with you, and so they're going to start hiding things from you. How can you help them if they're hiding things from you? You need to understand that people are going to come to you from every awareness level out there. You've got to love them from infant stage to those that even surpass you. You've got to love them through those things and let them I just had somebody sitting in my chair yesterday. I cheated here, 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 and here. All right, okay. How did you feel? I didn't feel real good. Okay, all right. So what are we going to do tomorrow?
Exactly.
And just cheer them on. Be the cheerleader. Be the one that encourages. You have no idea. There is a difference. You walk hand in hand with somebody who's critical, and then you walk hand in hand with somebody who's an encourager. Which one are you going to be drawn to every single time? Which one are people going to gravitate to? We have a world that needs cheerleaders, that need encouragers. They have everybody's critical around them. They don't need you to be critical of them either.
We got a whole bunch of beautiful cheerleaders out here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just talked to several of them last week, and the things that they are doing, the work that they're working with people,
exciting. I'm excited.
And things like that is so exciting. So exciting.
You know, self-discipline is lacking a lot in this world. And I think some of it, because there's an old saying, if you don't have discipline growing up, you will not have self-discipline as an adult. And that's part of the problem. There's a lot of people that feel disciplined. And of course, discipline can be defined in many ways. But when you're going on a long fast and you're initiating some strong self-discipline, sometimes if you do too much self-discipline, of course, then you wonder why others are not. And that's where you have to separate yourself. You're the one that decided to awake and to take care of yourself. So whatever self-discipline, whatever initiative, whatever you need to do to keep yourself there and on spot, that's what you need to do. Anyone else, even your lover or your mate, I get this all the time, you do too, is that the mate isn't doing it or the mate's doing the opposite. You know, I was just talking to one lady this morning, you know, her husband is tough. Her eyes are changing beautifully and everything, and she gets it and she's working on it, but her husband is not. And they're older, not old, but older, and it's like, well, you know, just get a good insurance policy, life insurance policy, and, you know, but don't try to fight it, because she will make her wear herself out as the wife, wanting so bad her hubby, the one she loves so much, to change. The sad part is you can't change anybody.
Right.
And you just, and when you get so much self-discipline, keep it to the self, because there's a lot of lack of self-discipline in this world. And if you germ it up, realize people struggle with self-discipline, so you don't have to be hard with people, because as soul, you don't die, you can't be hurt, that sort of thing. Everything is that you see here in creation is an illusion anyway. It's here today, gone tomorrow. And it's out of your world. It's an experience, and boom, it's gone. It's just like you looking over here 1 minute and the next over here. That's all gone for me now. I'm in here now, and now that's gone. I'm over here. That's soul. The mind will keep you here, keep you there, because it remembers what it saw, and that's stored. So you can go back to those memories anytime you want, but it's not in real time. And that's how creation works. You know, your real time, your consciousness is in real time. And that's in every moment. So again, grabbing a hold of that mind, humility is a big one for me. You got to have that. If you don't, your butt gets sore from God kicking it too much. So you just got, you know, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I saw a saying, how many times was I swallowed by the whale before I got it?
Yeah.
So, when I first started this, I remember my husband and my kids, you don't touch our dairy and you don't touch our meat. And I preached for a while, and when I did that, I saw them pulling away even more. So I decided to back off and just do my thing. And my husband, he's lost 79 pounds.
Yeah,
79 pounds.
Wow. It's done good.
And he's doing good, and he's usually the one, hun, I think it's time for a lemon. I think it's time for a lemon fast. Or something.
That's
so, I mean, he's come a long way.
Yeah. It's funny, it wears off. If you say nothing and you just do it, okay, you do whatever you want. You know, because people like to fight that. But if you do whatever you want, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And you stay with that. Don't let that bother you. It smells and everything. All right, yeah. Once in a while, okay, or whatever. But, you know, just keep on going. And you keep your world your world.
Yeah.
It's better anyway, because you're happier when you feel whole. You're not happy when someone has your emotions and they're raking it over a stove or something, or one of those stretching machines. So when you just the more you give yourself to others, the more they will use it. So you can give divine love to everything. Just be careful who you give yourself to. You know, you want to keep as much for yourself as you can. It's not ego. It is the way it is because you're the only one that you're born alone, you live alone, and you die alone. I've always said that. And the only difference is you pull other souls or other things into your environment to satisfy whatever your journey is, but you'll be checking out here alone. And you're born alone unless you're born with a twin or something, but it doesn't matter. As a soul, you're an individual always. And you can be around 1 million people, you will still always be that individual awareness. Can't get rid of God, which is that individual awareness in all things. And when you tap into that and become more of that, then you become more godly. And that's the cool part about that. And then you give reference to all life. Because all life is doing its own thing, going through its own cycles and everything else. You've already been through a lot of that because now you're awakening and then you become that higher being. You know, the way shower, where now you can show others. You don't walk the walk for them, you already did that. You don't have to go back. But you can say, hey, don't walk over there. There's a pitfall over there. There's a big hole over there if you go over there. If someone goes over there and falls in the hole, say, well, you know, get up and go down the road again. The nice thing is we can always get up.
You don't say, I told you so. You help them out of the pit, and then you point out the rest of them. And then if they go that way, pretty soon there's enough people that just keep, you point out a pit, and that's where they're going to go. You can't do anything about that.
That's it. Well, we love you, and we hope to see a lot of you at the class. We're excited about this class. Again, we're filming this class, and it'll be our new level 1.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting level 1 and level 2 harmonious. It's taken me a couple of years to work that out to where it's a rhythmic movement. And so for those of you that suffered through our changes, it's just the way it is. You know, we're always in a growth movement. We always want to bring in new information. And when I do videos, a year from now, we've already learned more. You know, because we're researching, we're looking, we have a staff in here that's researching for us. You guys are researching and sending us information. We're then researching on top of that. So this is fun stuff because what we're doing is we're dispelling the illusion that's been cast over the public by the AMA. We're cleaning the smoke away. We're cleaning the crap and the lies away. We're cleaning the illusion away and bringing the light, the love, and the beauty back. And the sense of wellness and vitality. And this is what we have to do. It's time. And that's why we're doing it. We have to do it.
Yeah.
And so we welcome you, all of you, to come help us and work with us.
Yeah. There's a lot of excellent people out there helping and spreading the word and all of that. And if you are so inclined to join us at class just to take it to that next step, awesome. We'd love to have you join us, but you are doing absolutely amazing. Robert talks to different ones. I do that call in with questions and stuff, and just how you guys are working and spreading the love and the educating people on myths and what's true, and just putting truth out there.
Yeah, getting through these myths and getting through the propaganda and the bullshit, pardon my French, but sometimes you just get, after almost 50 years of this, I just get, you know, when someone says herbs are bad, sometimes I get off my center and I'm going, you know, you hear this story over and over from people that are just totally unaware of the truth, you know. And yet it's the herbs that are the magic healers. These are the magic healers. Paul Twitchell called them the magic healers. That's just what they are. Herbs and magic healers. They're incredible. And you can even friggin' cook them and they still heal you. I mean, I'm telling you, look at the Heal All tea. You can cook it and it'll still heal you. Look at the cases we've had just with the Heal All tea alone.
Absolutely.
The testimonies are a mile long just from that tea alone. And that's cooked. So raw, you know, so always enjoy the beauty of this planet. And of course we're always watching it, you know, when we're discovering new herbs or new things, they're always being watched and stuff. They're always being chemically analyzed. But, you know, you should never fear anything like that. No. If you fear anything, fear your mind. Fear what you don't know. Fear the unknown. Fear those that treat instead of make well. You know, you can't treat, you can't. This is the consciousness we have to break, is this treatment. I'm going to take this for this. You got to get out of that.
Yeah.
You're into a total regeneration, rebuilding, remodeling your consciousness, your body's consciousness, your cells' consciousness, the whole 9 yards.
Well, they say that the truth shall set you free. Well, we are mind, we are spiritual. I should say it this way: we are physical, emotional, and spiritual. And when you look at that, that's true for all of those. You bring truth into you about the physical. You start learning about the fruits. You start learning about the herbs. You start learning about the vegetables. You start giving and providing your body the truth on how you should eat and stuff, and it's going to start freeing that body.
Totally, totally.
Which allows you to start freeing some of the emotions. I have a good client. He called me one day. He's from Kansas. Marcie, I'm a cowboy. Why do you have me bawling every day? I said, well, I don't think I do, but you're detoxing emotionally also, aren't you? So he's hilarious, but I love him to pieces. But I have we have seen a huge increase in the emotional.
Oh yeah. Right. And I expect that, because if you look at this, of course, that's your next journey. Generally, is the emotional world. Mm-hmm. There was a movie with Rob Williams, I think, about the astral world, and it was, I can't remember the name of it, but his love had passed, and then he went to visit her in the next world. But the colors and how they did the colors in this movie, and I believe it was Robin Williams at the time. But it was a beautiful movie about when you leave this world, where you're going, what's the next world, and it's called the astral or emotional worlds. Well documented. When you have your first out-of-body experience, that's the world you're going to generally go to next. You will see how that is. You'll find yourself awake. That's thousand-petal lotus is located at the top of those worlds, and that's when you see in literature things like the thousand-petal lotus thing discussed. There is actual places you can go where these exist. That's where these literateurs get. You know, it's just like Edison going and taking a cat nap, getting more information from the astral museums or from the Akashic records. I mean, it was well documented that he did this. It was well documented that a lot of the inventors, look at Tesla, very in tune to the astral crystalline worlds. Dr. Jensen, almost every night they had him out of his body into the crystalline cities and teaching him crystal healing. Didn't know how to deal with it. I bet he's dealing crystal healing now. So it's just like, it's so massive. There's so much to creation. Just creation alone, let alone the Godhead itself. That's what's fun. That's what's challenging, you know, and not just the physical sense of well-being, you know. So yes, a lot of emotions are being ripped off because this is the next level that's coming together like this. And so, yeah, and that's your adrenals. And look at how many people with the adrenals down. So relax, take it easy, because when you relax and let it all go, anything from the past is going to work itself through and out. You might cry over nothing, who cares? Let it all go, it doesn't matter.
I know we were getting ready to finish up, but understand when we talk about the adrenals literally are tiny, but they're mighty. They work in conjunction with pretty much everything in the body. And everybody that knows of me knows of my struggle with diabetes. And from the beginning, I have said that it's not just my pancreas I'm dealing with. Because by the time I became a type 1 diabetic, my liver was already affected, my pancreas, my adrenals, my kidneys. So there's multiple areas. By the time you get even a tiny fraction of adrenal fatigue, your kidneys are, they're going to be in trouble. The thyroid, look at the adrenal and the thyroid connection. Pancreas, of course. I've got one lady that constipated, could not go to the bathroom for, I think she was on her day 8. She was on 4 or 5 number 5s 3 times a day.
Oh my God.
We changed one thing, and she went all weekend.
What did you change, the liver?
We upped the adrenals.
Up the adrenals.
That's
So
the
then
only
you
thing we
knew
changed.
immediately that was a neural, that was
Yeah.
that was the autonomic nervous system.
Absolutely.
Automatically told you right there. You know, and that's the thing, is understanding these connections between the adrenals, the neurological connection there. And we had once thought maybe yours was maybe neurological, but you'd been on insulin for so many years. Anybody on a steroid or a hormone for 30-some years, you're in trouble, because your glands are shut down. And to get them awake again, And the work you've done is unbelievable. But this is what it takes sometimes to work yourself out of some of these places. So what? If you're in a wheelchair and it takes you 2 years to walk, so what? If you're a quad or a para and it takes you 3 years to walk, so what? But I'll say this, know yourself. If you pick up and believe the hype of this world and the hype of the AMA, there's no cure, you look at this and you play with these things, these different, especially for quads and paras, you play with these different associations like the Miami Project and stuff. You're just spinning your wheels, baby. You want to learn about tissue regeneration because that's what you need, is tissue regeneration. And we're at the highest order of that because when it's neurological, remember we talked about the high level of fruits. But no matter who you are and what condition you're in, if you have MS, it takes you for the bulk of our MS clients that are in wheelchairs, they're walking at 6 and 7 months. That's a fact. But there's some that are not. So I can't tell you what to say about it. Everybody's uniquely different, and you just have to work through it, whatever it is. But to sit there and kind of give up, or don't do that. Don't allow yourself. Be strong. Get a hold of that emotional and mind, because that mind wants to bring you down. That emotions wants to control you. Don't let that happen. Get yourself focused. You will be out of that chair, and you will work on tissue regeneration. Understand what breaks down. Even though we might have a trauma initially, why don't you heal from trauma? I cut myself, I'm going to heal, right? What if I don't heal? Why? Learn the whys, what brings the body down. Well, what side of chemistry? Well, God, we're only on 2 sides. The guess is 50-50. How easy is that? So it's just so simple when you really look at the chemistry of it and the physics of it and you really put it all together. The complexity, of course, is all the integrated past experience of you, the integration of genetic thinking of your cells and all that, and how God put that all together as one package. Amazing, amazing stuff.
Well, we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but you look at the body and the pH acid in the body, almost all the metabolic activity that's in the body produces an acid response. So how do you balance that? The only way to really balance that
is your ingestion.
Exactly.
Is your ingestion. That's right. You know, you have so much acid, just like Marty, we were talking really into this the other day about the acids and the producing of the acids. And I've talked about this on the other video of the Krebs cycles and all the methylation, and all these different cycles and processes that's in the cell, outside the cell that's going on. All these processes yield acids, even ascorbic acid, breaking down of the flavonoids into the bioflavonoids and then into even the individual bioflavonoids and vitamin C. We need the whole flavonoid complexes, but that's, you know, that's the thing. And I don't know, I just really...
It's fun.
It's fun. It's fun. All I can say is fun, because we have fun discussing these things all the time. Because it's just, you know, it helps when rap sessions are fun, and that's what I think we ought to get into sometime with them, is a rap session to show them how we rap and think, you know, just like we were doing with that. It even helps us to become aware of things that we're not thinking about as when we're rapping with each other. Because she picks up some things in her research, I do, so when we're rapping and we're looking at these things, we go, oh, look at that, yeah. And so it helps to open some doors that way.
Yeah. So.
All right, well, we love you guys.
Absolutely.
And there's so much, we could sit here and rap with you all day long, because it's just, we have so many clients, and that's where you really learn, is helping others. It's not just helping yourself and helping others, you learn so much. Right. And it's just, it's fun, and it's not just fun, it's rewarding, and it's self-satisfying that you've actually helped others. And I'm not just talking about humans. I'm talking about plants, I'm talking about animals, I'm talking about everything else is divine. And you have to look at that. Be the Rumi, Jonathan Rumi, where you see everything as God. And the minute you see every atom as God, you're home.
Beautiful, that is.
You're home.
Absolutely.
Because then everything will be God for you. Love you guys.
I wanted to say one more thing. Don't ever give up.
Yeah.
If the building around you is burning and somebody said, I need you to sit in that chair and not leave for a while, are you going to listen? No. And yet in the last week, I've had somebody say, I've got RA and there's no cure. They said, I've got, what was the other one? I forget.
That's a good point right there.
Fibromyalgia,
That's a
there's
good
no
point.
cure. I can't even list, I can't even think of the number of times, just in the last week, where I've had people tell me, outside of this office, because by the time they come to this office, they know we believe there's a
Yeah.
cure, but outside of this office, there is no cure. Lupus was one of the other ones. And I looked at her and I said, don't believe it. That'll stagnate you and you'll never get up, you'll never rise above it if you believe it. Do not believe it. There is always, always, nothing is impossible.
You know, it invokes things like this too, and this is the way I like to look at this. Someone says there's no cure for lupus. I said, you're right. There's no cure for cancer. You're right. There is no cure for those. They're diseases. They're fabricated. They're made up names. Now, if you say I have systemic acidosis, I have virals in my body, sure, detox, get it out, alkalize, regenerate, you're home free. But if you're carrying a disease around with you, there's no cure for diseases because they're man-made. No one knows even what they are. Oh, they're autoimmune problems. Oh, what's that? That means your immune system's goofy, right? So it's goofy when I have, I want to talk about skin problems, you know, because I had one with the heavy psoriasis again and stuff like this, and it's just the same old stuff. These are all autoimmune problems. I would be embarrassed as a physician if all I had to say about something, that's an autoimmune problem. In myself, I'm going, what the hell am I saying? You know, because that means I'm in a position of not knowing anything, and I can just lump it into this category and satisfy you that I know. And that's not how we do things here. If we don't know, we're going to tell you. And I suggest, and I've said this to him before, when you don't know, be belly up and tell him. I don't know, I had experience with this. There's no one has experience with everything. So you can only have experiences with why you're here and your journey. So who cares if you don't have the experience someone else has? That's someone else's journey. You can't have it all. You can only find it all in God consciousness, though. But you have to just kind of realize that when someone's talking about diseases, there is no cure for those. But then you know why. Because they're all drummed up, they're all made up. You live in a world of chemistry and physics, cause and effect, and that drives every single thing that exists. Jesus found it out, Buddha found it out, millions of souls have found it out. Sometimes after bad experiences, you reap what you, everything you put out comes back at you. And it's a simple law. It's a main law in physics. So you just realize that these aren't necessarily religious laws or spiritual laws. They're also physical laws. But they're all lumped in the same. I mean, how can you separate one from another, you know, because it's all one anyway. But it's enough to say is, go your own way, find your own, enjoy your own individuality. That's the problem this world has, is that socialism, which is on the negative side of the coin, is pulling you away from being the individual that you are. And this is why we're killing everybody, because they're individuals and people don't accept individuality here. That's a huge lack of spirituality, because socialism is not spirituality. And we're fighting that in this country now. They want to break down our Constitution, which is our freedom, our doorways, and they want to replace with socialism. Like in other countries, it's like it doesn't work, never works, and it's of the negative side. Because your individuality, you were born an individual, you will always be an individual. You can dress like everyone else, you can act like everyone else, you can start talking like everyone else, but you will still be the individual soul that you were created to be. And enjoy that individuality. That's why I love each and every one. I love individuals. I love to see everyone new, the way they look, the way they are. People go to the airport and sit and people watch.
Oh,
it's fun to people watch. Because everybody's new and different and exciting. So,
then you start making up stories about the people you're watching and doing conversations. No, I'm just...
Well, that would be, that's about what creation is right there. Well, we love you guys again, and we just wanted to do a quick little video to say hi and talk about some of the frustrations I know some of you have, and you're working on them. And you're the ones holding the key. You know, we can only show you the tools and walk with you, but you're the key. You're always the key. And if you sit there and know you will get this, you will know yourself better, and you command, you take the role of commander, you'll win. Always you'll win. We notice that every time my clients, I will do this, they do it. Oh, I don't know. I'll try it. And it's like, well, I guess you're not going to be successful. I told that to one lady one time. She said, I guess I'll try. I said, I guess you're not going to be successful then. She said, what? I said, because you're going to try. You don't try, you do. And that's where you shift yourself from the poor feeble effector to those that are creating it and being the cause. And that's what you always want to be. You drive your own car.
You can almost tell who's going to be successful in many things by there's two main questions. What do I have to do? And how long do I have to do this?
Yeah.
The ones that are, how long do I have to do this? You're going to be
Hopping along.
Exactly. Come on. Another 6 weeks. Another 6 weeks. The ones who are, what do I have to do? You see them when it's time to, what's the next step? And they're back. You don't have, I mean, yeah, there's questions, there's things like that they're going to ask along the way and stuff, but you're not babying them along.
That's important too. And another thing that's important, and you brought that up in the sense that everyone must walk their own walk. And I know healer is a very spiritual person, whether they realize it or not. And their hearts are open and they're lovers. And even some of you that don't think you are. You've just been through a lot of hell. So you just have to give that space to others and let others, if they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it. But always be that positive and try to give that out to your clients so they will pick up. Because I tell my clients, if they're in that funk, I tell them they're in that funk. Get out of that funk. Because as healers, they're coming to you, and I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're acting up, I'm going to tell you you're acting up. I mean, I'm not going to pull any punches anymore in my life. It's not worth it. And you do it with love, though. Remember, is it kind, is it true, is it necessary? Those three things.
There's a number of people that feel that they have made so many mistakes or they are so messed up that they can't help people. And let me point something out. Not that those, like Robert said, you've been through hell, but there's a purpose behind it. Find that purpose. And this is I don't know how this is going to come across as an example, but my husband and I lost our second child. And it wasn't until we had lost our second child that I had compassion for those who'd lost children. You may be going through hell, but what you learn in that moment, you can give. You can understand. You can help somebody else. You can pass that along. You can share that compassion with them and that understanding with them. So the ones out there that are sitting there thinking, I have nothing to give, you usually have the greatest to give.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah, because that's it. That's the bottom line. I lost my second one too. Car crash. But I'll tell you this, it's just like Marcie says, those of you that suffer the most have the most to give and will learn the most. And it's your doorway to freedom. And realize this is something you created in the past. It's just nipping you now. You have the opportunity now to get rid of it. And you have the opportunity through our doorway to get rid of this, and you're done. And I'm giving you clues not to create more. So when you're done, your rest of your life will be open, beautiful, spiritual. If you have a desire to understand more, you will. And so your whole world will change because things are rapidly changing on this planet. The move of the World Bank is going to be more aggressive to take over this country. It already has been. A lot of things are going on here. So we haven't seen the tip of the iceberg in the negativity yet. And we're the ones that have to bring the positive in. If no soul brings the positive in, how does it get here? Right. You can't bring the infinite into a closed area like this. It is through each and every one of us, like we were talking about. So it's up to you to bring the God-conscious state here. It's up to you. You're the one. You're the channel. You're the channel. I'm the channel. The plants, we're all channels for this. It's just that the Homo sapien at this level on this planet is, the most aware in self-awareness of all the other vertebrates. And you're the one.
And just it's planting seeds. You may not be the one that reaps the harvest. That person may move on, but it's planting those seeds of awareness and truth and just sharing it. Not pushing it, just sharing it.
Just sharing it. Sometimes if you because I made the mistake of, I was so excited about Raw, and I felt so good. I had so much energy, and of course, I'm an out-of-body traveler at the time so much that my friends were just like, you know, I lost them all. They all kind of went the other way. Oh, Robert, yeah, we'll talk to you later. I didn't even, you know, so I just became a loner because I knew that I don't know, I was excited. I didn't know that it was maybe deemed as narcissistic, but I was just excited that I found truth. Look at this ball here, you take it, you take some too.
Well, I've gotten to the point where if somebody asks me a question, I pause. And it's, do you really want to know my answer? Or are you going to zone out when I start talking?
Yeah. Well, we can tell when you zone out when we start talking to you.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yep.
Well, we love you guys again, and thank you for listening to all our videos. I know they're long. Some guys say, I just did a marathon of your videos. I'm going, oh my God, you poor soul. We thank you so much, and anything we can do to help you, we're here to help you in every way, shape, or form, because it's just we can make this a very powerful experience on this planet. There'll still be those that suffer, but you have to realize that's the nature of the beast. But for those that are willing and need to change and want to come up out of their worlds of hell, we give them the opportunity, and with you guys helping us and all of us working as a team, you see what we can do. It's just such a beautiful thing. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah.
We all modalities need to grow. All our health modalities need to grow up a little bit. Even the natural health modalities, we all need to come up to these higher levels of understanding, because once that's done and we all understand the lymph system, at least at the level we do, that bam, 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 you'll start seeing people getting better all over the place.
Absolutely.
From all these other practitioners too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as a team, even in illness, if you take out the I and you replace it with an E, the we, the W-E, illness becomes wellness. That's what the teamwork has to be.
I love that.
Be blessed.